Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome, my dear students, the heroes of grade 4. Welcome, my dear sons, to a new session in science. Today, inshallah, we'll continue our talking about force and motion. Force and motion. If you remember the last session, we have studied launching the satellite. Did you remember? We have studied launching a satellite. Was it amazing? Did you remember? Do you remember launching a satellite?
Yes.
Where we talk about launching a satellite, we have a before launching and during launching and after launch. Before launching the satellite, if you remember, the force is balanced. So the satellite still in its place static because the force is balanced. The force applied on it is balanced. So the satellite still static, doesn't move. Okay? No force pushing it now. No engine. The engine doesn't work yet. The engine doesn't work yet. So the force applied on it is a balanced force. So the satellite is static. The satellite in the beginning was static. Is it okay? But after the engine work, here, can you see the engine is working? Now the engine is very strong. It burns a lot of fuel. So when the engine works, it pushes the rocket by a very strong pushing force. The engine pushes the rocket by a very strong pushing force. Now the force is become unbalanced. The force become what? Unbalanced. So the satellite launched up, moves up to the space, very high speed, in a very high speed. So the rocket start move. Why the rocket start move? Because the force become unbalanced. The force applied on it become unbalanced. Is it okay? Okay. After that, when the satellite go to the space, there is no air and no friction force. In the space, there is no air and no friction force. So the satellite can keep traveling in the space with the same speed for hundreds of years. It can rotate around the Earth in its orbit for hundreds of years because there is no friction force which stop it. Nothing stop it. No force stop it. So it can rotate around the Earth for many years, maybe hundreds of years. Is it okay?
But what I said to you the last time, I said maybe the satellite it break for a rock on the space.
Maybe, my son. But if there is nothing hit it, nothing hit it, yeah, it will move in its orbit. If nothing strike it, if nothing crash with it, it will still moving in the space for long time. Okay. If nothing strike it, if nothing crash with it. Okay.
Mr. But how the rocket fall in the
Yes.
Mr. How the rocket fall in the air without any محرك.
When the rocket, you know, they have a remote control. They have a remote control, you know. They have some computer. They have a computer inside the satellite, and they have here a station in the ground on the Earth. This station can control the path of the satellite. They can control its direction.
No, I didn't mean the satellite. I mean the rocket.
You remember the rocket is separated part by part, not one time. It's separated part by part. The first part separated first, the second part separated second, the third part separated after that. Okay, and every part fall on the ground by a parachute. Every part fall on the ground by a parachute. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's now move to another part of the lesson. Here, the rolling cars. I give you a homework to make this activity, to roll your car on the ground. Did you make it?
Teacher, I want to say something.
What the?
No, Mr. I will make. I hear there is a country making in the satellites rockets to destroy in the war in Russia. the rockets are ready to fall on the war to end the war early.
يعني you can say the rockets are a very strong weapons. You can say they can use it in the war. You can destroy countries by these rockets. Yes, my son. Yes, it is a very strong weapon, of course. It is a very strong weapon. Yes, my son.
But it's a bad.
It is a bad weapon. Yes, of course. It can kill a lot of people. Yes, my son.
And it's a bad behavior from this country.
Of course, these countries they have bad behavior. Of course, they make a very strong weapons to kill many countries, to kill many people. They make something like this, the nuclear bomb. Do you remember the nuclear bomb fall on Japan?
What?
They kill a lot of people in Japan in the year 1945. If you remember, by the end of the Second World War, they kill a lot of people in Japan by a nuclear weapon, by a nuclear bomb. This bomb can kill maybe 1 million people in one day. So it is a very strong weapon, my son.
It's a Nawawi?
Yeah, nuclear is Nawawi. Yes, my son. Okay, but we don't make a nuclear weapon until now. In Egypt, we didn't make any nuclear weapon until now. Okay, but it's not our issue. Let's go to our issue, my son. Let's go to our issue. Okay, we are talking about rolling cars. Rolling cars. Did you remember when you push your toy car? You can push it gently and you can push it hard. Yes. If you push it gently.
What meaning of gently?
Gently is by small force. Gently means by a small force. Okay. Gently mean what? By a small force. Okay. If you move it gently, you push it by a small force. Does it move fast or slow? It will move slow. And does it cover a short distance or a long distance?
Short.
A short distance. Very good, my son. Because the force applied in it is a small force. So the distance will be moved is a short distance. So the distance depends on the force. If you push by a small force, the distance will be short. And if you push by a strong force, if you push it hardly, in hard force or a strong force, does it move faster or slower?
Faster.
It will move faster. And it moves long distance or short distance?
Long distance.
Long distance. So we can conclude that the motion or the distance will depend on the amount of force. The force is big, the distance will be long. The force is small, the distance will be short. Is it okay?
Okay.
So the distance depends on the force you apply. Depend on the force you apply. And the kinetic energy of the car depends on the force you apply. The kinetic energy of the car, يعني the moving energy. Kinetic energy means what? The moving energy. The car moves, so it has kinetic energy. Okay, my son? When the car moves, so it has what? Kinetic energy. Yeah, when the car moves, it has kinetic energy. When the car moves, there is a kinetic energy move the car. There is a kinetic energy. The kinetic energy increase and the distance increase if you use a bigger force. If you apply a bigger force, if you increase your force, the kinetic energy will be increased and also the distance will increase. Is it okay?
Okay.
So there is a relation. There is a relation between the force, the energy, and the distance. Force, energy, and distance. If you have large energy, you can push things by a big force, and it will move long distance. So again, remember, if you have large energy, in the beginning you have energy. In the beginning you have energy. If you have large energy, so you can push by a big force. You can push by a big force, so the object will move longer a distance. Is it okay?
Okay.
So there is a, remember, there is a relation between energy and force and the distance. The energy increase, the force will be bigger and the distance will be longer. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay, I will write it for you. Energy increase. Energy increase. If energy increase, what happened to the force? The force A become a bigger. The force become a bigger. And the distance become a longer. Is it okay? The distance is a longer. So there is a relation between energy and force and what? And the distance. I want you to remember this very well, okay? If you have large energy, so you have bigger force, so you will move the object longer distance. Is it okay? Who can tell me more about it? Who can repeat it for me? I want, yes, you, what's your name?
Ahmed Mustafa.
اتفضل يا أحمد. Can you repeat it? What is the relation between energy, force, and the distance? If the energy increases,
if energy increases, force,
so you have what?
The force.
You have bigger force, and you will move the object a
Far away.
Longer distance. Longer a
Distance.
Thank you, Ahmed. I want another one to explain it again. Yusuf Muhammad, are you ready, Yusuf? Can you explain it again?
Yes, Miss.
اتفضل يا يوسف.
What is this? What explain?
Explain the relation between energy, force, and the distance.
The small car move for a long distance, and the big truck move a short distance.
No. I am not talking about the small car and the big truck. I am talking about your force and your energy. If you have bigger energy,
I can push the car. I can push the big truck. I can push
for longer distance. Yes.
for longer distance, and the force is bigger, and the definition this is longer.
Very good, my son. If you have larger energy, so you can make a bigger force to push. You can make bigger pushing force, and you will move the object longer distance. Is it okay? I want one more to explain. Muhammad Helmi, are you ready?
Yes.
Explain it again, please. What is the relation between energy, force, and the distance?
Energy increase, force bigger, distance is longer.
Very good, my son. Thank you, Muhammad. Ahmed Helmi now. Are you ready, Ahmed?
Yes.
If you have a smaller force, if you apply a smaller force, okay?
Okay.
It will move long distance or short
No.
distance?
Short.
It will move short distance. Type. If you have a small car,
Okay.
and you affect on it by the same force, if you have a small car and a large truck, okay, and you push them by the same force, which will move longer distance, the small car or the large truck?
A small car.
Yeah, very good. It has a small mass. You know why? It has a small mass. There is a relation also between the mass and the moving distance. If the mass is small, if you have a small car like this, and you push it by a certain force, and you push it by a certain force, it will move longer distance. And if you push the big truck, it will move a shorter distance. What is the relation here? It is the mass. The mass of the object. The small car will move longer distance. The small car will move a longer distance than the big truck because the small car has a smaller mass. It has a smaller mass. This one will move longer distance. Okay? But the truck will move what? The truck will move shorter distance. Is it okay? What is the relation here? The relation here between the mass, the force and the mass. The small car has a small mass. If you push it, it will move longer distance. And the truck, if you push it by the same force, it will move shorter distance because it has a bigger mass.
Mister, I want to explain.
You want to explain? Okay, my son. What's your name?
I am Omar Ali.
Omar Ali, اتفضل. Can you explain the big car and the small car and the distance?
Okay. The big car is
big mass
shorter.
or small mass?
Small mass.
The big car, the truck has a small mass?
No, the big car
has bigger mass.
Bigger mass.
Yeah.
And the car is small mass.
Very good. So which one of them will move longer distance? The one with the small mass or the one with bigger mass?
Small mass.
Very good, my son. Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. I need somebody else to explain it again.
Me.
Adam, are you ready, Adam Abdul Wahab?
Yes.
Can you explain the relation between the mass and the distance?
The truck has a bigger mass than the small truck, and the small truck has less mass than the big truck. So the small car will go longer distance, and the truck will go shorter distance.
If you push them by the same force, if you push them by the same force, is it okay? If
Yes.
you give them the same force, okay? Okay,
yes.
Thank you, my son. Everybody, do you understand it? Did you understand it? Muhammad Samir, can you explain it again? طب عمرو مجدي.
No.
Can you explain? Amr Magdi, can you explain the relation between the mass and the distance covered? The small mass will move longer distance or shorter distance?
Longer.
Longer distance, very good. And the big mass will move a shorter distance. Is it okay?
What means the mass?
يعني you have مثلا 50 kilogram or 40 kilogram. This is your mass, okay?
Oh, yes.
This is the mass, okay? You are مثلا 40 kilogram or 30 kilogram. This is your mass, okay? The amount of matter in the object. The mass is the amount of matter in an object. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. In an object. Is it okay?
Okay.
This is the definition of mass. What's meant by mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Is it easy?
Yes.
So easy. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. And the motion depends on the mass. The motion depends on the mass. Okay? The bigger mass move a shorter distance. The smaller mass move a longer distance. Is it okay? Okay.
Yes,
now let's move to another part of the lesson, Shabab. The last part of our lesson, which is energy, work, and force. Energy, work, and force. Okay?
Teacher, can I go and drink some water?
Quickly, my son, quickly.
Okay.
Listen, my son, listen, my son. We say before, if you have energy, you can pushed by a bigger force. Yes or no? If you have bigger energy, you can push things by bigger force. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have bigger energy, you can push things for longer distance, and you can apply a bigger force. So can we say that energy is the ability to do work? Can we say that the energy, if you have energy, you can do work? The energy is the ability to do work. You must have energy to do any work, to push anything. The ability, the ability,
We need bigger energy.
to do a work. If you have energy, you can do work. If you have energy, you can do work. Is it okay?
Yeah.
What is meant by energy?
Energy is
The ability to do work. Is it okay?
Yes.
So if you have energy, you can do work. If you have energy, you can do work. You can push things by bigger force. Okay?
Okay.
So you need energy. You need energy to push the car. You need energy to push the car. Okay? In the beginning, you must have energy. In the beginning, you must have energy. Is it okay?
Mister,
Yes, my son.
the mean of work.
Just wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I am coming to the work now. I am only talking now about energy. Just wait until I tell you about the work. I am going to explain work now. Just give me a second, okay?
Okay.
So if we have in the beginning, we must have energy. To apply force, we must have energy. Then we have energy. We can push things. We can apply force. If we have energy, you can apply force. You can push the car by your force. Okay? If you move the object, you apply your force and the object moves. So now you do work. Again, if you apply your force on an object and this object moves, now you do work. This boy is pushing a car. The car moves. Now he do work or not?
Work.
If the car moves, he do work, okay? He does work, okay?
Yeah.
But if the boy push a wall, if you have a wall like this, can the boy push the wall?
No.
It will not move. It will not move. صح?
Because it need a very big energy.
Very good, my son. So the energy and the force can't do work in this case because there is no motion. Yes? The boy have energy, but not enough. The boy have force, but not enough. So there is no work. Is it okay?
Yes.
So when you say you do work, you must make a motion. When you say you do work, you must make a motion. If you don't make a motion, you don't do work. Okay? If the force is applied on an object and it doesn't move, now you have energy and you make force, but there is no work. So if you say you do work, you must make a change. You must make a change. Okay? If you make a change in the position, if you move something, now you do work. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
You have energy? Yes. You push it by a force? Yes. But you don't move. But you don't move it, so you don't do work. Is it okay?
Yes.
So when you say that you do work, you must apply your force and the object must move. Okay?
Yes.
The boy gets the needed energy from food. Where we get our energy, ya shabab? Where we get our energy?
Because
From eating food. Very good. Our energy in the body, we get it from eating food. So if you eat very well, you have a bigger energy. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good, my son. So
But-
the food is very
But
important.
eat very but Mister and eat very well. I am can bigger.
Yeah, will be bigger. Very good, and stronger. Will be bigger and stronger. Okay. So you
Yes.
have to eat very well. You have to eat very well. So you will have bigger energy. You can do more work.
Yeah.
Okay. To get energy, you have to eat very well. Okay. This energy enables the boy to move the car. This energy enables the boy to move a
Car.
So he has energy, he can do work. So has energy, he can do a work. Okay? Okay. So the energy in the beginning. You must have energy in the beginning. So you can push, you can pull, you can do work. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Next, the car moves. The car moves. If the car moves, now we do work or not?
Work.
If the car moves, now you do work. So the work must have force and motion. The work, you must have a force and motion. Work is force applied on an object and move it. And move it. Is it okay? When you have a force, you can push or pull. If you move the thing, now we say that you have work. You do work. There is a work if only you push things, if you move things or something like this. So work is different from a energy. Work, it must be work. When you say that you do work, it must be something more. You must do something. Is it okay?
Teacher, I think the session is about to finish.
I have 2 or 3 minutes only. Yes, my son. Yes, my son. As a last statement, I want you to know that in the end, my son, energy, it is the ability to do work. In the end of our session, we have to remember what is meant by energy.
Is the ability to do work.
And the energy gave us force. The energy gave us what?
Force.
And the force enable us to do
Work.
The force enable us to do work. So when we say we are doing work, this is energy applied on an object and move it. Is it easy, my son?
Yes.
I need an excellent student to explain the relation between energy, work, and force.
Me, Mister.
اتفضل يا ابني. What's your name?
Adam.
اتفضل يا آدم. What is in the beginning?
Energy.
We have energy. In the beginning, we have energy. Where we get energy? From food. Where do we get energy?
From
food. Is it okay?
Yes.
And after that, if you have energy, you can apply force.
Yes.
And if you have force, can you push things?
Yes.
So if you apply force on a thing and you move it, now you do a work.
You do
work. So in the beginning, you have energy. And the energy give you force. And the force enable you to do work. Is it easy, my son?
Yes.
I need another one to explain. Malik.
Me.
What's your name? Mustafa Murad?
Yes.
Can you, Mustafa, explain it again? Relation between energy, force, and work.
Energy is the ability to work.
Where we get energy? Where we get energy? Where we get energy?
The food causes energy.
Yeah.
And the energy
food. We get energy from the food.
Yes, the force enable us to work, and the work means to move something and move.
don't
Yeah,
stop.
very good, my son. So you have to remember the energy in the beginning give you force, and the force enable you to do work. Again, energy in the beginning give you what? Give you force, and the force enable you to do what? To do work. Easy?
Mr.
Easy?
Mr. exam. Mr.
Yes, my son.
Mr. the exam هيجي لحد أنهي درس؟
لا لغايه اخر يوم شهر ديسمبر، لغايه يوم الخميس اللي فات. الدرس بتاعنا بتاع البالانسد والانبالانسد فورس. ماشي يا حبيبي؟ ده اكزام up to balanced and unbalanced force. اخر جزء هيجي في الاكزام هو البالانسد والانبالانسد فورس. احنا بس هنخلص كده، احنا خلصنا الكونسبت، هنرجع نراجع تاني، هنبدا ريفيجن تاني يا شباب. احنا هنبدا من الحصه الجايه نراجع. احنا هنبدا نراجع تاني، احنا بس بنخلص الكونسبت اللي احنا بدأناه، وهنبدا مراجعه تاني ان شاء الله من الحصه القادمه. ماشي يا شباب؟
يعني ماشي.
ماشي.
يعني درس ثاني ونراجع.
يعني احنا كنا بنخلص الكونسبت اللي احنا بدأناه وبعدين هنبدا نراجع تاني. Thank you everybody. I love you so much.
يعني احنا مثلا خلصنا الكونسبت
كده كونسبت
من
1
يوم الأحد.
كونسبت 1 في يونت 2 خلصناه.
نراجع.
هنبدا نرجع بقى نراجع تاني ان شاء الله. ماشي يا حبيبي؟
ماشي.
Thank you. I love you so much. You are excellent today. Thank you. Goodbye.